But can you say that now well, you're heading to your own sound now?
Yeah, I think we've almost got more poppy, like more towards the Beatles.
We do just sound like the Pigeon Detectives now, though, don't we?
I think so, yeah.
I heard an interviewer suggest to us fairly recently that he's seen quite a few new bands popping up that he thinks have taken more from us, the Pigeon Detectives, than any band he could see. You know, there's almost mimic bands popping up around Yorkshire, where we're from, that are trying to look and sound and act like the Pigeon Detectives. So that's quite a good sign that
influence.
Yeah, we're starting to sound like ourselves rather than anybody else.
And how would you describe it now then?
I think it's
after a few years we can...
I think it's still punk, but it's very, very much pop now as well. Like a punk pop.
It's riot pop, isn't it?
It's riot pop.
Riot pop. There's a few of them pop, well, pop isn't people that grow up, kids are, I don't know, they want to make rock music, and pop is sounds a bit like swearing maybe.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I think our definition of pop is completely different to what most people would think. As in, like, I can listen to Britney Spears and think it's pop music, but I can listen to the Beatles and think it's pop music, and the Beatles were definitely a rock and roll band, but they still wrote like 2.5 minute songs that were catchy and got on the radio, which is what we try and aim to do. And it's the same with Britney Spears. I don't know, I just think that, if you try and write songs that people like, trying to appeal to a lot of people, that's kind of pop music for me.
What is the first song you were actually proud of?
The first song I was proud of?
Yeah? And that still stands out?
I'm going to say, because you're kind of proud of every song you ever write.
I know, but it still stands out.
Yeah,
I Love You is the oldest song
that's on the album.
That's on the album. We wrote that about 2 years ago. So I think if that still stood the test of time and it's on the album now, I wouldn't say I'm most proud of it, but I'd say it was definitely a turning point for the Pigeon Detectives in terms of this is a song that we think is good enough for the rest of the world to hear.
How come? What?
I don't know, we just worked at writing songs and rehearsing songs and playing songs that much. We finally found a formula that worked for us and we were happy with.
But was there you were saying that song, you actually had the first time, you had the feeling, well, hey, we're proud of. Can you be a bit more precise what you mean by that? Did something happen while recording the song, or writing the song, you thought, hey, we have some sort of breakthrough? Or?
I reckon it might be in the reactions from the crowd when we played it.
I think it might also be that every time you write a song, you instantly think it's brilliant. And then after about a week, you realise that it's not quite as good as you initially thought. But the thing with I Love You is, it's probably about 2 years old, and I can still listen to it and think that's quite a good song. So it's the first song that, even from that, it's the oldest song that I can still listen to now and go, that's a good song.
Yeah.
Whereas like all the other stuff we'd written before that, I'd just listen to it and go, I can't believe we thought that were a good song.
Well, your debut album will be released, I think, at the end of May.
Yes.
Can you explain the album title?
Album title?
Wait For Me. Well, Wait For Me is also a track on the album, but the meaning of the title for the song and the meaning of the title for the album are two totally different things. Kind of the track meaning, it's about kind of these parties we sometimes go to where we come from, and it's getting to 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning and everyone's had too much to drink and the sun's suddenly coming up and you just feel like this is the last place you want to be, and kind of it's like, look, wait for me, don't just leave me here, the last person at the party. Whereas the album title more refers to our status in the music industry and kind of the eyes of the public in the UK. We were getting a bit scared at some points that a lot of bands were getting a lot more press than us, and we were struggling to get the album released, and we might just be getting left behind a little bit. So the significance of Wait For Me in the album is just kind of like, look, here's our album, we'll come in now, and this is what's going to happen, and this is hopefully it's going to take off.